Like real talk trigger warning. Hold on. I'm not so I'm gonna just say this now. Trigger warning. Okay. All right. Let me put it up. I'm gonna put the full screen up. Hold on. Cause I already know that some of y'all gonna be pissed off when y'all see it. Shamar looking at Shamar. What you want, Shamar? Shamar, what you want, Shamar? Shamar, look at her. Look at them ankles, boy. Shamar looking at her. Jaya. Julia. Bitch. Why did you my phone? Hey, so don't touch my brother. So. Right, don't touch me. Oh, those ankles. Look at them bitches, man. Crackhead. Other bitches, Lauren. The little kids in there, not the big kids. The big kids not touching them. I'm saying, the little kids should smash that bitch on my brother. Damn! Crack, damn! Hey, so let my homie go. Let my motherfucking homie go. Let my motherfucking Who's that, Joe? They working at. Oh my God. Y'all, that brought tears to my eyes. That's actually bringing tears to my eyes now. That brought tears to my eyes when I first saw that. I saw that this morning. And first of all, I don't know if y'all noticed, that woman was pregnant. Number one, that woman was pregnant. Now I'm gonna read y'all an article that might give more information. I know that there was a whole thing where a bunch of parents showed up at the school today to support the mother to find out what was being done. So I'm gonna just read y'all this article. It happened Monday afternoon near the 106th Street and Bensley Avenue. This was in Chicago. That's right down the street from the Orville T. Bright Elementary School. The video shared tens of thousands of times on Facebook shows the attack. It shows a 33-year-old woman being punched and eventually falling to the ground, where the assault turns even more violent. Police say the woman and a 9-year-old boy were taken to Trinity Hospital in serious condition. It's not clear what led up to the attack. The woman and child had been walking in the area beforehand. News of the attack is spreading quickly on social media. It led to a big crowd gathering outside the school Tuesday morning, demanding answers and justice. The woman's family was among those at Bright School Tuesday morning. They alleged the woman's son had been bullied for 2 years. On Monday, as the woman walked her kids home from school, the teens turned on the mother. It's just an outrage. We have to do better as parents, as a community, and as a school. And maybe this could have been prevented if school would have helped out more, if the principal would have stepped up. And that's the sister of the woman who was attacked said. Justice still needs to be done. Something needs to be done to these kids that jumped on them. Some type of justice. The father said. Some parents at the school didn't want to be identified, but affirmed a group of young people have been bullying the boy and others. That's disgusting. I have no words. My heart is hurting for her, the person said. No one is in custody as of the writing of this article. Chicago Public Schools has issued a statement, and it reads as follows. Chicago Public Schools prioritizes the safety and well-being of our students, staff, and families, and we are committed to building a physically and emotionally safe teaching and learning environment in every school. We are horrified by the attack on this family, and we are working collaboratively with city departments and agencies to provide support to the victims of the attack. CPS is coordinating closely with the mayor's office, CPD, HSA, and other city departments to provide additional support to the family. School administrators, teachers, and support staff work with students to create an open environment where conflicts and grievances can be addressed. School leaders work with parents and all parties involved to find a resolution, adhering to the student code of conduct as they address any confirmed violations. In addition, it is always our goal for all members of our school communities, including staff, students, and parents, to work together proactively to maintain a safe and calm environment at our schools. Mayor Brandon Johnson said in a statement the following: I was deeply disturbed to see the video of young people attacking a mother and her child on the far south side yesterday. That type of behavior is unacceptable in our city, and we must not normalize that type of senseless violence. Leaders from our office have been on the ground all day coordinating with CPS, CPD, and CHA to respond to this incident. CPD has deployed additional resources to that area to maintain public safety, and we are working with CHA on additional measures to support the family. We have also activated support from community-based organizations that focus on youth services and violence prevention to provide safe passage for students and families at this school. I will continue to monitor this situation closely as I get updates from the ground and as the investigation unfolds. It is critical that we provide the necessary resources to our public education system so that every school community has counselors and mental health professionals. We must redouble our efforts to teach our young people that violence is never an acceptable response. Our students and families should always feel safe on their way to and from school, and we must make the critical investment necessary to make that a reality in every part of our city. I'm grateful for the community residents who have rallied to support the family, and I'm calling for calm as we conduct a full investigation and ensure there is accountability for all attackers and healing for the victims. So let me get it. Let me say my let me give my 2 cents. Jonathan's here. Hey, boo, where you been? Let me say something. This is the kind of stuff, when I tell y'all I don't want to do this anymore, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? It's not about teaching. It's not about going into my classroom and teaching my kids. It's not. It's not. It is about a system that is creating this. It is about a system that is creating this. We, as a society, do not want to hold our children accountable. And let me tell you something. And I know that some people aren't going to agree with me, and I know that this might be an old school mindset about things, but let's be clear. There's nothing wrong with punishing our kids. I don't believe in gentle parenting. I don't think the shit works. Sorry, not sorry. And I know that every child is different. And there are my little cousin, he was my cousin, his mother, she never had to put a hand on him. I think she might have hit him one time in his entire, and when I say hit, y'all know what I'm saying. I mean, you know, because he wasn't the kid that needed it, right? But And I'm not saying that every child has to be beat, but what I am saying is that there has to be punishment, real consequences for bad behavior. And when there are no real consequences for bad behavior, guess what? The kids don't stop. Adults don't stop. When there are no consequences for bad behavior, guess what happens? Nothing, behavior doesn't change. Most of us do not self, what's the word I'm looking for? The word I can't think of the word. But anyway, most of us do not do that, right? Most of us do what we do because we know there's a consequence on the other side if we don't do it. I get up and I go to work every morning and I make sure I'm at work on time, because if I'm late for work every day, there's going to be a consequence. So yes, that's it. Yes, self-discipline, whatever the word is I'm looking for. All of us are motivated by a consequence. If I'm late for work too many times, I'm going to lose my job or I'm going to get written up. There's going to be a consequence. If I don't meet my deliverables at my job, there's going to be a consequence. If I don't get my tags renewed and pay the fee to renew my tags, there's going to be a consequence. If I don't renew my driver's license there's going to be a consequence. Hell, if I don't go to the grocery store, eventually there's going to be a consequence. Ain't going to be no food in my damn house. Self-regulate. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. That's the word. Thank you, word on the curb. Self-regulate was the word I was looking for. Most of us do not self-regulate. Most of us are motivated by a consequence. So if adults are motivated by a consequence, how do we expect children to be motivated when there is no consequence? When I first started teaching, I had so many tools, and I said I was going to write a book. I don't want to say too much because I still might write my damn book, but I was going to write a book because I had so many tools when I first started teaching that helped me with classroom management. We could keep the kids after school for detention. We can't do that anymore. We could make the kids walk up and down the hall in a straight line. We can't do that anymore. We could make the kids write, I will not forget to turn in my homework 100 times. We can't do that anymore. We used to be able to make them write out of the dictionary. We can't do that anymore. When we call the parents, I used to call the parent and the parent had my back. Parent had my back. Do you hear me? 90% of the time, they do this. They do a lot of talking, but at the end of the day, they ain't doing shit with those kids. When we had parent-teacher conferences last week, I talked to a lot of parents, and I told the parents that I talked to that the majority of my problem was the phone. Do you think any of those kids got their phone taken from them? Not nail one. Not nail one. All of them came back to school with the phone in their hand. Not nail one got their phone taken from them. Not nail one. The closest I came was a parent saying to me, I'm going to put the parental control so that they can't, whatever the limit is during the day. Thank you, Phil. Parents need consequences for their parents. It has to start at home. I agree. It has to start at home, but it also can extend out because the school also, in my opinion, has a responsibility to the kids as well. They're at the school 8 hours a day. So I agree. It has to start at home, but the school has to hold them accountable as well. That's just it, Lori. There is no discipline. That's the Lori said, well, how do you discipline? You don't. There's no discipline. There is none. The kids do what the fuck they want. And that's real talk, y'all. I don't know any other way to say it. There is no, and I'm not talking about inner city school. I'm talking about across the board. We can go to the best school systems in this country all the way down to the worst school systems in this country. And the problem is the same. And here's why the problem is the same. Because we've all adopted, when I say we, I mean society-wise, we've all adopted this gentle parenting bullshit. And nobody wants to hold their child accountable. Nobody wants to inconvenience the parent. See, part of the reason why suspensions worked is because it inconvenienced the parent. Because now the school is saying, oh, no. You're going to keep that kid with you. That kid can't come in here. Coming in this building is a privilege. That kid can't come in this building. So part of the reason why suspensions used to work is because the parents used to be inconvenienced. See, the parents aren't being inconvenienced anymore. When I first started teaching, if I said I'm going to call your mother, that was enough. A lot of times I never even actually had to call a parent. If I said I'm getting ready to call your mother, baby, them kids straightened up, and that worked for that worked for some of them. It worked for the rest of the school year, but it certainly worked for a couple of weeks at least. Now they don't give a fuck about you calling their parents. Let me tell y'all something. When I saw that video today, I said to myself, and this is real talk, y'all. Real talk. That could be me. That could be any one of my colleagues. That could be any parent walking their child home from school. Because these kids have no fucking respect. They have no respect for adults. They have no respect for authority. And y'all saw in that video, all it took was one. Those kids surrounded that mother until one of those kids was bold enough to cross that threshold. When that first girl crossed that threshold and tried to snatch the phone out that lady's hand, and then she punched her, that's all it took. That's all it took. All it took was that one parent, that one little girl, to cross that threshold. And once she did it, they jumped on it. And I bet you, I'd be willing to bet money I don't have. I'd be willing, when more information comes out, I will put money that I'm going to say the majority of those kids in that video, once they're identified, are already problem kids. These ain't kids that just woke up one day and decided they was going to do some dumb shit. These are kids that have been terrorizing that school. These are kids that run them halls all day long. These are kids that have probably failed half their classes and still get pushed to the next grade. These are kids whose parents either don't show up, or when they do show up, they don't give a fuck. I'd be willing to put money on that. I'd be willing to put money on that. Because I deal with it every day. You know what? I had a parent tell me, I sent a parent an email yesterday, basically telling her, your child cusses in my class, your child misbehaves in my class, your child is failed in my class, she cuts my class, all of the above. You know what the parent's response to me was? The parent's response to me was, she's not a child. I told her to stop acting up in school. Maybe she just needs to fail. See, that's the problem. She is a child. She is. She's a child that's still living under your roof. Now, mind you, this is the same girl. She coming in, her hair done every day. Every other day, she got a new weave, new wig, new ponytail, hair done, cell phone. But that was her response to me. So now what do I do with that? The other problem is most school systems have changed, and that's why they put that in there. If you, when I read that statement from the school system, if you guys probably didn't pay attention when they read the code of conduct. When they said, "Oh, as long we want to make sure it falls into that any violations to the code of conduct," because here's what a lot of schools have done: a lot of school systems have changed the language of the code of conduct so that they cannot suspend for a lot of things that they used to be able to suspend for. For example, in the school district where I work, cussing a teacher out, that's not a suspendable offense. A student called me a bitch, that's not a suspendable offense. Cutting class, that's not a suspendable offense. They can't suspend the kids for cutting class. So when they catch the kids in the hallway, they can't suspend them for that. So what ends up happening is security just ends up chasing the same kids around all damn day because they're not going to go to class. We have ISS. We have ISS as well. And that's a whole nother issue, but we do have ISS. We do. Now, you can suspend a kid for insubordination, right? That's the trick bag. You could say, well, I told the child to go to class and they didn't go to class, so they were insubordinate. So now I'm going to suspend them for insubordination. But here's the other trick. Here's the flip side of that. If a parent decides to appeal the suspension, guess what? Most of the time they get overturned. Most of the time, I told y'all what happened last year when the girl threatened to come up to the school and shoot up the school, and I was on her list. Then I told y'all they overturned. My principal put that student up for expulsion. They overturned it. I told y'all about that. So she was suspended until her expulsion was overturned. Now, the way it ended up happening, her expulsion was overturned on the last day of school. And I don't teach her. I mean, I'm not even in the building. I'm not even in the same building with her anymore. But again, and I'm telling y'all the truth. I'm telling y'all this is the God's honest truth. I ain't never told y'all nothing else. Believe what I'm telling y'all right now. Had that happened earlier in the school year, I probably would have quit. And I just would have had to pray on it. I ain't lying. I would have had to pray on it. But I probably would have quit. But because of the way it happened at the end of the school year, and I'm not in the building with her anymore, then, but had that happened in like February, I would have quit. When they said, well, her expulsion was overturned, I would have said, well, I'm going to the union. First of all, I'm leaving. I don't feel safe. I'm going to the police station. I'm filing a police report. I'm going to the union. I'm filing a grievance, and I'll figure out what I need to do from there. But I'm not coming back in this building. That's it. That's all. I'm not coming back in this building. And I told my principal that, and he said he understood. But the only reason why it happened the way it happened is because it was literally the last day. Y'all remember my last day of school was that Friday. The last day of school for kids, I think last year was like that Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. But remember, my last day was that Friday because I went to Disney World. That Monday and Tuesday, I was supposed to go to work. I was already in Disney World. But I told my principal, I said, please understand that had this happened earlier in the school year, that would have been it. I'd have been gone. I wouldn't have been in this building. So Kay smiled. The only in hindsight, I probably should have filed, because what happened was I filed a police report. So here's the thing, and this is the other thing that people don't understand about how the school system works. I filed a police report with the police officer, like our what they call the police officer that's in the school. With our security and the police officer that's in our school. I forget the name of the police officer that's inside of the school. I did file a report, but what I should have done, what I know now that I did not know then, the resource officer, thank you. What I should have done was gone to the police station and filed a police report. That's what I should have done. But I'm thinking, well, I filed the police report with the, I mean, he's a police officer. He works for the county. So I'm thinking it's the same thing. It's not. It's not. It's not the same thing. Even though he works for the county and he is a police officer for the county, it doesn't work the same way. But again, if I knew then what I know now, that's what I would have done. I wouldn't have fooled with none of that. I would have went straight to the police station. I would have went straight. But they did, I don't want to go too deep into it. They did do an investigation. They did. I'm not going to act like they didn't do anything. They did. They did an investigation. My principal put the girl up for expulsion. Everybody believed that she did we got the proof. We had the email. Like, we know what she did. But again, this is what I'm saying. It went to, we call it a PPW. It went to that office and they overturned it. And let me tell you why y'all want to know why they overturned it? So here's why it was overturned. Because it did not disrupt the school day. So had my principal had done a shelter in place, had my principal evacuated the building, had my principal had done something on that level, they said they would have upheld the expulsion. But because my principal handled it, which I thought the way my principal handled it was great, because what my principal didn't want to do was cause a panic. They literally just looked up the girl's schedule, found out because they knew she was in the building. They looked up her schedule. They went and found her and they pulled her into the security office rather than putting the school on lockdown to go find her. So because my principal did not put the school on lockdown, they're saying, well, because again, remember what I told you guys, it goes back to what's written in the school handbook. It's the language of the handbook. And because they showed us everything, they showed us their reason for the decision and they gave us the language. And that's the way the language is written. And they do that so they don't have to put these kids out and suspend these kids and expel these kids. They've changed the language in a lot of these handbooks. Listen, I could go on and on and on and on. I don't know if she's back in school. She's not where I teach anymore. So I don't know where she is. I know she's not where I am. That's all I know. I haven't asked. I haven't looked her up. I don't care. I know she's not where I am. Exactly. So because my principal didn't panic and put the whole school on lockdown. Hey, Real T, what's up? Yeah, I don't know where the young lady is. I don't know where she is. And like I said, I don't want to go too deep into all of the details, but it was a whole thing. Yeah. But again, if y'all have kids in school, just go and read your school's handbook, the student rights and responsibilities handbook. And the operative word in that sentence is rights and responsibility. They've given students way too many rights. Back to this original story, I'd be willing to put money. I would be willing to bet money that those kids in that video have been suspended multiple times, are a problem at the school, are failing. Those weren't, and I hate to say it like this, y'all, those weren't honor roll kids out there. Those weren't honor roll kids out there. Those kids out there, I'm not talking about the kids who were just watching, because kids watch fights. Kids watch fights all the time. I'm not talking about the kids who were out there at standby. I'm talking about the kids who got themselves involved. The majority, I will be willing to even say 99%, this ain't their first rodeo. They've been watching too many baddies, and they've been watching too much of that bullshit. Gossip in the Garden says, I work at a college and we have students with conduct issues because they were never disciplined in grade school. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I deal with it every day. And that's when I tell you, when I say I'm done, I'm tired, that's what I'm tired of. I'm not tired of teaching. I'm not tired of talking to kids about history. I'm not tired of that. I'm tired of dealing with that bullshit. I'm tired of kids running down the halls all damn day long. I'm tired of being cussed out. I'm tired of kids ignoring me and being disrespectful. I'm tired of kids being on their damn cell phone when I'm trying to teach them some shit. That's what I'm tired of. That's what I'm tired. I'm not tired of getting up every day and going into the school and dealing with my kids. I'm not tired of that. I'm not. I'm tired of the other stuff. And let's be clear. Kids are going to be kids. Kids are going to always push the envelope. Kids are going to always try to see what they can get away with. I'm not talking about that, y'all. That's going to always be a thing. That was a thing from when I first started teaching. That's a thing. But the problem then was, and Phil, thank you for being a member for 31 months, my love. But the problem was there was a consequence then that there isn't a consequence now. Sis, I don't care how you do it, but God bless you and all educators. Child, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, my love. It's disheartening and I'm fed up. Exactly, Melly. Melly's an educator too. And that's why when I say, what's up, Nay? Hey, boo. And that's why I'm saying, I mean what I say when I'm like, I really need to figure something else out, because that's what I'm sick of. And that's why I'm saying, like the school systems keep losing, and then they wonder why they can't keep a teacher. What's up, Treasure? Then they wonder why they can't keep teachers. Well, that's why the fuck you can't keep a teacher. Two teachers brawling in front of kids and no consequence. Damn, you got the teachers fighting at your school? Damn. What's the next steps when the consequences don't stop the actions? So that is when you look into other factors. So, for example, if you have a child that is just oppositionally defiant, first of all, that might be a diagnosis. There are some people that just have what they call oppositional defiance, right? 2, are the kids acting out because they don't understand the work? Because that's what kids do. When they don't know the work and they feel stupid, or they feel like they're going to be called out, or they're going to be put on the spot, then they act out. So are the kids acting out because they don't know the work, because they can't understand the work? Is there a learning disability involved? Is there another type of disability involved? See, that's when you get into the factors, because most kids, and you're right, there are outliers. So there's some kids, it don't matter what you do, they don't give a fuck. And that's a fact. But the problem is, instead of us dealing with the 5 or 10 kids that just don't care about consequences, we now have 200 kids that don't care about consequences because they've never had any. You see what I'm saying? If you put some consequences in place, some consistent consequences in place, then you dwindle those numbers down. And now we can focus on them 50 kids that are cutting up versus the 500 kids that are cutting up. There was a parent on TikTok complaining that her son was kicked out of his college dorm for violating the rules. Parents protect instead of discipline. I saw that. Was that the one the child went to Central for homecoming weekend? He got kicked out because he was in the dorm after they told him not to be in the girl. They told him not to be in the dorm rooms. Yeah, if that's the same one, I saw that. Because again, it is. Because again, we are sitting here. We want to continue to defend the kids, no matter what. No matter what. Instead of saying, this is a harsh consequence that you got to deal with. This is a harsh consequence that you got to deal with. But oh well, that's a consequence. They told y'all asses not to be in the girls' dorms during homecoming. And your ass got caught in the girl or the wrong dorm or whatever the situation was during homecoming. Well, here's the consequence. And now the parent has to deal with the consequence, because the reality is your child probably didn't deal with a whole lot of consequences when he was a kid. So now the consequence rolls on you. Either now you need to find an apartment for him to stay in school, or he's gonna have to transfer home, and you probably lost your money for the semester, because trust and believe, since you're gonna keep that money, they're not giving you no money back. My son got suspended for defending himself from a bully. I agree, you really be. There are no consequences for these unruly children. And like they said in that article, those kids have been bullying that child for 2 years. That's probably why the mama was walking that boy home. Now, granted, the mother did look like she's seen better days. I don't know that woman's situation. She might have some other issues that she's dealing with. But she was walking her child home. You know why she was probably walking her child home? Because the child was being bullied. And the fact that the news knew means that the school knew. If the family told the news, the school knew. And that's probably why that mother was walking that child home. And let's be clear, that, can I call a thing a thing? That probably wasn't even the first time not to that extreme. That probably wasn't the first time that them kids was following them home and yelling at them and jeering at them. That might not have been the first time that happened either. Because that woman was way too calm in how she was dealing with that situation. She was way too calm. And the fact that they had to be taken to the hospital, yeah, I'm pressing charges against all of them motherfuckers. And I mean that. We're going to look at that video until we can't look at that video no more. I'm identifying everybody in that damn video. Yeah, I heard that too, that she has sickle cell. I'm identifying every child in that video. And first of all, and the sad thing is, the school is probably going to be absolved because it didn't happen during school time and it didn't happen on school property. So the school probably is not going to be in trouble. Now, if the parent has documentation about her complaining about that student, maybe. But please trust and believe that I'm pressing charges. Exactly, Phil. And I'm filing civil lawsuits. I don't give a fuck. Those parents gonna learn today. Those parents are gonna learn today. Anyway, y'all, let me get up off of here. But thank y'all so much. Again, don't forget, if you guys want to donate to the Thanksgiving basket, the link is posted at the top. I'm going to order 5 more baskets tonight before I go to bed. Oh, shoot. I forgot, this is Housewives. Damn, it's Salt Lake City night. Y'all might not get Salt Lake City tonight, y'all. Y'all might get it tomorrow. I forgot. It's already 8:20. I would have got off of here. I'm just rambling. Y'all might get Salt Lake City tomorrow, y'all. I'm gonna look at it. I'll see if I feel like talking about it. But I'm about to order. I'm gonna order 5 more of these. I'm gonna order 5 more of these baskets tonight before I go to bed. And there's some other stuff I wanted to try to do tonight. So I'm not sure. But with that being said, y'all, I will talk to y'all later. Peace.